Hi there. Been digging out some old Lego bits and pieces. I've found this controller here and also this brick, which is an RCX brick number 1, which I want to play with. But the problem, they both use the same connector, this sort of 4x4 brick, no 2x2 brick, sorry, 2x2 brick that plugs on, and is quite clever because you can plug it on either way round and it still picks up. So this one has 3 outputs for 3 motors. This has 3 outputs for 3 motors and 3 inputs for 3 sensors. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is these connectors. Probably 25-year-old by now, so if we have a look at it, the wire, don't know if that's visible or not, there we can see that the insulation has broken off the wire. It's a sort of rubberised wire, sort of thing I haven't seen for a large number of years. Used to find it on households and things like that where it would perish as well. Highly dangerous in a household, not so dangerous here, but could destroy something. Similar things happened at this end where I've put one of my connectors on. So what I've got to do is to take off this connector and put new wires on. I did find, however, that I have got, don't know where it came from, somewhere in the distance past, this one which has a plasticized rather than a sort of rubberized cable on it, and that is a different connector because if we look at the bottom we can see that the cables, if we could, you can see the cables there are actually visible from the bottom, whereas on this one they ain't. So it's a different design with this plastic on, probably more modern. Is it? If we can see, yes, it's still got the Lego logo on, so it's still a Lego device. So how are we going to get it apart? Well, if we look at it, we can see it's got clips, if we can see there, clips there, and at the other end. The problem with these is that they're actually fastened on to the base plate, which I have here. Difficult to see, but they're on here. Where? Come on. They're sticking out of this base plate. So the idea, do I need to get rid of that? Doesn't work. The idea that we can push these in isn't going to work because they're all part of this bottom cradle. So what I need to do then to repair this gizmo, this connector, I'm going to put it into my trusty vise. Here we are, vise, and going to put it that way around so that the cable's coming out of the end. Hopefully I can grip it in the vise. So as I say, I don't think I can push these in to get it to come out. I have to move the plastic case out. So how can I do that? Well, I'm going to start at this end and try to push a screwdriver in underneath the plate. Very difficult, but then I've got to move the 2 parts apart, and so what I've done is to get hold of some cir-clip pliers so that when they're squeezed they open. So that means I can get a large amount of force, says he, force, come on, onto the plastic to force the plastic apart, push the screwdriver in, and I've got one side out. Try with the other side, push, and that's got this end up So now all I have to do is lift it up and pull it out. All I have to do, yeah. So it should just slide out now. You need to go higher, higher and higher. Out. I've just broken the end off there. Right, just force it out. So I force that out. And then what we can see on the inside is that the cable just lifts out. Now the way the cable is fastened in, you can see all the insulations breaking off, and it goes up and round over this cable clamp. The cable is held in. If we look at one I prepared earlier, don't know if we can see it or not, but there are two pieces of metal either side, which are the contacts, so they come out of the side of the blobs on the Lego. And to fasten the wire into these, then we have these pointy up bits. Part of this metal just been bent round and points up, and what's supposed to happen is, with a special machine, you just push the wire onto those, it cuts through the insulation and makes a good contact. But for what I'm doing, that's bent a little bit, bend it back. What I'm doing, I don't trust that. So what I'm going to do is to take a couple of pieces of wire, and here's one. I bared the end, don't want that much on it, but what I will do is to find some solder and just tin the end, put a bit of flux on it first, a bit of flux, tin the end. Should have twisted it together first. It's a bit splayed out, but never mind. Splay that out, and then I can cut off the little bit at the end, so I've only a tiny bit sticking out. There. And now I'm going to try to solder that onto one of these connectors. So need to push it right down to the bottom. If I can find my driver screw, here we are, driver screw. Push it down to the bottom. Down there, and then hopefully just put on a tiny amount of solder. Just touch it. Won't be able to do it though without getting my fingers. Can I do that? No. See if it'll hold. No. So what I need to do is just tin that first, see if I can put a little bit of solder on it. Do them both while I'm at it, trying not to touch the Lego or myself. There, that's that. Let's try again with the end. Needs to go right down because of the plastic, so we have to push it right down. Hopefully that's got that in place. So now I need another one, same jobber. Let's tin it, twist it together, twist them together, tin it, put some flux on so it tins easily, cut it back, bend it round so that it's at right angle so I can get it really flat down to the bottom, and then just put it in place, and with any luck, if I can manage not to melt the case, or the Lego brick I mean, push that down to the bottom, and those two are now nicely soldered in there. So all I have to do is to put them over the top of the cable clamp, so that the top, well, the top or the bottom I suppose of the brick will go in. Push them down and make sure they come out the right place. Push them down there, and then I need to put the bottom back on. Make sure I get it the right way round. It does have a line across it. Looks like these are ambidextrous, that they can go on either way round. So these two are what would push the wire down over those two that I've crimped, so it can go on either way round. Bob it back into place. Famous last words. Put it partly into place. Get my vise and carefully tighten it up so that it goes and it crimps the wires and puts it into place. It hasn't quite gone because it needs a little bit further pushing, so what I do, put the end of my screwdriver in there and tighten it up. Ow! So I'm not getting my fingers, and there it just went click and it's bobbed into place. So hopefully that is a good job done and will last for a good few years. Just push that back down to make sure it's nice and square. So that's my rewired brick. Right, so it's bye now. Bye.